Hi, before we dive into this, I need to offer a gentle warning. This video deals with sensitive topics, particularly around growing up in an abusive environment. If that feels too heavy right now, or you're just not in the best headspace for this kind of thing, please take care of yourself and maybe consider if this would be a good watch for another day. Being raised in an abusive household has a way of following you even when you think you've outrun it. Life is already hard enough for those who are prepared, but for those of us who were handed trauma instead of support, adulting can feel like trying to run with broken legs. Most people can't see it, because there's this survival trick we learn early. When the adults around you aren't functioning, you, the child, step up. You take on adult responsibilities just to survive. Usually it's triggered by a trial by fire moment, something that forces you to grow up instantly. And while that saves your life then, it can easily cost you dearly later. From the outside, you might look strong, capable, even well put together. But inside, you can feel hollow, confused, and permanently exhausted. Because how could you believe in people when your own family betrayed that very trust first? That's the first great wound, but there's a second. The attachment to the very people who hurt you. Abusive families often create these twisted hierarchies, where the most vulnerable end up with the most responsibility. It's perverse, really. The abusive alcoholic father, no one expects anything from him. No accountability, no cleanup duty, no getting his act together. Instead, the burden slides down to the children, to the spouse. Because when someone refuses to carry their own weight, it has to land somewhere. And kids are the easiest targets. Not because it's the right thing, but because they can't fight back. In support groups for adult children of alcoholics, I heard a common theme. We have an almost obsessive need for justice and fairness because we lived through systems where fairness was thrown out the window, where hope quietly died waiting for a rescue that never came. And deep down, we want to save someone, anyone really, because we couldn't save ourselves back then. Even if it's unrealistic, even if it breaks our hearts again. Because saving anyone feels like proving the cycle can be broken. Getting out of the house is only the first escape. Healing is another mountain entirely. And no one tells you this. The road to healing is long, lonely, and unfair. You pay for what was done to you, with your time, your energy, your very soul. You will feel tied back by guilt, by obligation, by people still trapped in the old cycle. You'll wonder if you're a bad person for even thinking about walking away. I've been there. Forced to serve the person who hurt me most. To care for someone who never once apologized, never once tried to heal. Someone who made it their mission to crush any joy and hope I had. I asked myself 1,000 times, why is his well-being always a priority? Why was I born just to carry this pain? When suffering felt endless, when death seemed like a kinder option, I still knew one thing deep within my bones. This cannot be the purpose of my life. I refuse to let the darkness win. I believe this. Suffering may happen to you, but becoming a source of suffering is a choice. My father chose to become a force of destruction. He chose to let his pain rot into cruelty. And unless someone owns their damage and seeks to heal, they are no victim, they are a perpetrator. We all pretend in abusive families. The alcoholic pretends they are fine, the children pretend the parents will change, and the family pretends it's all normal, it's fine. Pretending feels easier than facing the monster under the bed. But the monster doesn't go away because you close your eyes. It grows. Here's the truth no one likes to admit. Letting the abuser fall is the only way out. Because if you don't, they will fall on you. And yes, this is terrifying. Letting go means sacrificing the illusion of maybe someday they'll change. It means accepting that chaos may follow for a while. It means believing in your own survival, even when you're bone deep tired. And here's the hardest part, most life-saving lesson I ever learned, perhaps. You are the only one with the power to say enough, no more. You don't owe anyone a long explanation. You don't need permission. You don't have to prove your suffering to anyone who won't see it. You may need to block numbers, change addresses, walk away cold. You may have to endure loneliness for a while. But freedom lives on the other side. So let me say this again. There may not be anyone coming to save you. You are it. And that is not a curse. That is your power. Believe that you can save yourself, because when you do, you make it true. You turn survival into your own self-fulfilling prophecy. You take your life back. Believe in yourself. Believe in your right to peace. You deserve it. You always did. Thank you so much for watching.